Great Debaters Contest is powered by Blaze, by Safaricom, the Youth Network.
If you're looking for phenomenal debates, you'll find them right here at the Great Debaters Contest. We're coming to you from Meru County. I am Mariam Bishar.
And I am Austin Yombok. Our motion today is education helps reduce socio-economic inequalities. We have St. Mary's Igoji going against Josirines girls. Mariam, who is going to take the debate?
Impossible to tell right now, Austin. We'll let the debaters take the stage. Proposal number 1, you have 3 minutes.
If someone does not have fish, do not give them fish. Teach them how to fish. Okay? In the same way, education helps to reduce social economic inequalities. Nelson Mandela himself said that education is a very strong weapon. And I, Clara Gasheri, support this motion fully. That's why I move on to my first point, which says that education helps to improve knowledge and thus reduce ignorance. Ignorance is the lack of information. And as we know, education is a process of teaching, training, and learning, which is carried out in schools and colleges to improve knowledge and improve on skills. Socioeconomic inequalities is the unfairness that is brought about where some people have more wealth, status, and opportunities more than others. How does education help to reduce this? You may ask. Let me show you. Improving knowledge and reducing ignorance. People in schools, through the content they are taught, through their syllabus, they are given knowledge, and this creates awareness within themselves. The students from higher socioeconomic backgrounds get that people from lower socioeconomic backgrounds need their help, and through this, socioeconomic inequalities are reduced greatly. Second of all, inequalities between people from different socioeconomic backgrounds is reduced, whereby children from higher social backgrounds and children from lower socioeconomic backgrounds get to know that they are not equal. They have different opportunities. Some do not have opportunities, others do have opportunities. From their environments back at home, they are told that you are better than other children. You are better than these others. But through education, through the interaction that they go through in schools, they learn that they have a duty to help each other. The misconception that they are better than others is eradicated. The malice that would have taken place a few years to come is nipped in the bud. That is why I strongly propose that education can help to reduce socioeconomic inequalities. And if you think education does not, how else will we reduce the socioeconomic inequalities? If there are any, my dear audience, it's all make-believe. Education helps to reduce socioeconomic inequalities. Wake up and smell the coffee, people.
Okay, opposition, we'll hear your opening statements. You have 3 minutes.
Mary Wamboi from Josirines Girls High School, here to oppose the motion that states education helps to reduce socioeconomic inequalities. But first, what are these socioeconomic inequalities? These are gaps or differences that are there among a group of people in a society or even in a country in general. On my first point, it is as a result of this education that people have been able to invent great things which have left great effects on people in Kenya. For example, talk of machines. These machines that have been invented maybe in the job industries have been able to replace labor. A machine can be able to do a job which could have been done by 5 people. Then, if these people are fired, where will they go? Who will be able to take care of their families? Also, this education, it has exposed people to the rapidly changing world. People have come to learn of the importance of money, luxury, and even power. Therefore, everyone wants to be the best. They want the best and also to live the best kind of lives. All this, it's all about education because they have come to learn that these things are there. That's why you see even this disparity. These people, when they are educated, they tend even to change their way where they live. They want to live in places where they think it's the best. They have their own classes. That's why today we have people live in Muthaiga, Karen, and at the same time in Kibera. Also, education has made people to lose hope. Take an example where a student sits in class for 12 years studying, and then you sit for your national examination only to score an E. That kind of disappointment, how will you be able to live with that the kind of thing in you? You'll forever remember that. You won't be able to proceed. Take an example of last year. Many students failed their exam. They were disappointed. Some even committed suicide. So really, is this helping us to develop economically and socially? I don't think so. Also, as a result of these inventions, maybe like the machines, like the aeroplanes, what has happened? Let us take our minds back. What happens to our former Minister of Internal Security, the late George Saitoti? He died in a plane crash, leaving our country in tears. All this as a result of these inventions. And so, I beg if you all join me to oppose the motion that really education has not reduced the socio-economic inequalities. Thank you.
We'll hear rebuttals from both teams, beginning with the proposers. You have 3 minutes.
When the game changes, the rules must change. We live in a modern world, and this is because of education. Join Wendia, St. Mary's Igoji, proposing the motion, education helps reduce social economic inequalities. First, for those who take biology, it's basic knowledge that we live in a Darwinian society where the fit survive and the less fit are eradicated. So with education, we have it as an equalization factor where people acquire different skills and people are able to think critically. For example, how many of you here are sure that after school you're going to secure jobs? Very few, right? But with education comes life skills, in which when you acquire these life skills, an example, critical thinking. You'll think critically and start a business. And lack of funds is no excuse, because these days we have microfinancial institutions which offer loans at low interest rates. Secondly, a research from the Forbes by the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics shows that 94 out of 100 people living in Turkana live in abject poverty. Abject, meaning desperate with no hope. So main point of concern here is why the large and embarrassing numbers reason lack of education. We all know the education situation up there. It's wanting. Thirdly, the Ministry of Education has introduced tablets to schools so that they can improve the education system in our schools. Do you think they were mad doing that? No way. They knew the value of education. They knew what it helps in doing, that it will really reduce social economic inequalities. And that's why we have 2 out of 47 schools in every county. 2 out of 47, 2 schools in every county having at least tablets. So this will help reduce the gap between private schools and public schools. In addition, exposure to similar conditions in schools helps to reduce these inequalities. When you go to school, we have people from diverse backgrounds with different ideas. So when they merge their ideas together, we have different contests. We have Science Congress, we have very many institutions coming from education. So like diverse ideas are introduced and people share the ideas and we have economic development. Industries get the ideas from these contests. So it's practical, it's working, and it will always work. So join my wives.
Opposition, we'll hear your rebuttal now. You also have 3 minutes.
I'd first like to pose my question to my fellow opponent. She has talked about how many here are assured of getting jobs immediately after high school. I would like also to pose the same question. Here, it's a matter of money. How many people are assured after this education you are going to get job employment? I'm Susan Joki, Josirines High School. I'm hereby opposing the motion that says education has not helped to reduce socio-economic inequalities. It did. When the madness of an entire nation disturbs a solitary mind, it's not enough to say the man is mad. My second point, through education, people have been able to become inventive. For example, the development of Air Force weapon system, isn't it? The development of Air Force system, for example, the use of guns, the use of atomic bombs. Through education, people were innovative, people were exploitative. They ran to bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan, isn't it? This led to people of them becoming what? People died. The soil was affected due to the explosion of the bombs. People were deformed. That's why you can see socially, people are unable to interact with Japan, for the soil has been interfered with the chemicals from the bomb. Socially, economically, their level of standard decreased. To my point, through education, people are moving to urban areas. People have acquired skills, knowledge and skills in particular fields. People have moved to urban areas, isn't it? When people move to urban areas, both skills, both semi-skilled and both skilled, move to urban areas. They are able to acquire jobs. But you see, some of them are not educated. What do? I have nothing to help me earn a plate on my table. What will I do? I will engage in social vices, stealing, thieving, and engaging in prostitution. So I'm urging all of you that education has not helped to reduce socio-economic inequalities. Thank you.
Third proposer, you have 3 minutes.
Sally Wangeshi, and I'm from St. Mary's Igoji, and I'm here to propose the motion that states, education helps to reduce social economic inequalities. So first, I'll start by answering his question. Well, how is inequality promoted, yet we have the private and public schools? As you can see in KCPE and the intake into high schools, the public are usually given a first priority because this will help, because they have a lesser advantage compared to the private, which will help them to have an advantage over the private, and it will be equalized because the private have more facilities than the public. Then we also have scholarship programs, so you can't tell me a person from a public school won't be equal to a private one, because we have the scholarships, e.g. the equity, so the person who is at a lower level will get to the upper level through scholarships. Then I'd love to oppose the proposers that machines, they'll remove the people, but these machines need people to operate them, right? They need people to operate them. We need skilled people to operate them. You can't tell me that a guillotine is going to be operated by a non-educated person. So it needs people. This will lead to employment in that when the machines are discovered, yes, but there'll be people who will need to operate them. Then you tell me you feel bad because you get an E. Surely. What are you doing in school? Couldn't you read? Where are you telling me you're feeling bad? You had 12 years in school to read. You had the opportunity to read. And then you tell us that the discoveries, like the aeroplane, have led to incidences that are bad, like the deaths. Why are we looking at the negative side every time? We should be optimistic. This Kenya cannot continue with pessimistic people. So on to my first point. Well, we live in a society that if every Tom, Dick, and Harry made a small contribution to it, we live in a better and bigger society. Well, how can we get this every Tom and Dick and Harry? How can we get them? Through a common platform, and that platform is education. We have the gents in the trousers and the shorts. We have us in skirts. That brings equality. We have the boy child and the girl child coming to school to have a uniform platform in that they'll have that common compelling focus that they're going to improve the economic status and social status of the country. Then, onto my second point. Nevertheless, the education helps in reduction of population. How is this? How does population affect socio-economic equalities? If we have a large population, the country will not be able to provide for all this population. So how has education helped in that? We have family planning methods. We're taught this education about the sexual organs and such education. When you're educated, that you know that this amount of children, this number of children are required, and if I exit this, they won't get the quality of education they're supposed to get. That will help in reducing the population, which will reduce the gap between the rich and the poor. And I have to say this, We will live in a world where everyone has enough to eat, enjoys a clean environment, and shares the value of Earth's natural resources. But you know how we can achieve that? Do you know? I'll tell you. Capital EDUCATION. Education.
May we have the third opposer?
In front of you is Freda Gatweri from Josirines Girls High School. I've come here to oppose the motion that states that education helps reduce socio-economic inequalities. First of all, for the proposers, you said that or the students maybe went to school, but what were they doing in school for they scored an E? For a fact, we are not criticizing education, nor are we undermining it. But what you should know is that we are not all equal. You might be bright, but I'm not as bright as you. Another thing, you said that there is introduction of laptops in the schools. Let me ask you, are these inventions not the ones that are making us deteriorate both economically and both socially? For a fact, I can give an example. A lot of students go and watch bad movies in the laptops. For instance, pornographic movies. What do these movies help us with? They just introduce immorality in us. Therefore, I don't support education at all. On to my first point, I'll talk about superiority. Superiority. When I talk about superiority, what is superiority? For instance, I can give an example in a family. Let's say a man is educated and the woman is also educated. Who will give the other one a chance to speak in that house? When a man, we all know that a man is the one who is supposed to lead her home. But when a woman is educated, she'll be like, I want also to make a decision here. And when a man talks to her, she'll be, no, I don't want to hear what you're saying. But for a fact, education does not help to reduce socioeconomic inequalities. On to my second point, I would like to say that you're trying to mean that education is the key to success. And for a fact, the ladder of success is not crowded at the top. For instance, I can give an example with a person I know, in fact, my neighbor. He's not educated, but for what I know, he's even the one who is employing the ones who are educated. Therefore, I urge all of you to join me and say that education does not reduce socio-economic inequalities. Thank you.
We're ready for final statements now. The proposing team, you have a minute.
Listen to me, people. We are not after stopping inequality, but after reducing it. And this is the ideal world. For perfection, wait till you get to heaven. And this is no longer an issue of debate. People have to be educated for equality's sake. In addition, c'est la façon de manger le manioc qui le rend make or do. The bitterness or sweetness of a cassava depends on how you eat it. So use education and you'll gain.
Opposition, you also have a minute for your closing statement.
Man is to hella. I'm sorry for the diffy, but it's theft. Thank you. I'm just correcting on hereby. I'm saying that education has not helped to reduce socio-economic inequalities. Hereby, everybody is accessing education. Otherwise, after this education, after acquiring education, it will not help to reduce any social or economic inequalities anyway. Education inequality is a myth that can never be achieved. Even if it's an acquirance of education, up to which level, education can never reduce social and economic inequalities in this world. It's due to past struggle whereby the education will not help to reduce any social inequalities. Thank you.
Clara, you're very eloquent, and I like your style. However, I felt that you should have given more time, because you're given 3 minutes. Give more time to your debate. Joy, you gave good examples. That was exemplary. You used your time well. However, your role is to cross-examine. I felt that you didn't do your job well, your role in cross-examining. You're supposed to attack the other group. That is what we call cross-examining. Sally, you did your job well again. You took your role, you answered the questions, and I found that you're a great debater because you're very eloquent.
For our lovely ladies from Josirines, Mary, very good start. I like that you spoke about how technology and education can lead to technological advancements and can also have a negative impact, and so that was a good angle. Susan, very good cross-examination. Good job. Frida, you're a very powerful speaker, very eloquent, and it was wonderful to hear you speak. So all the best to all of you.
For St. Mary's team, a little more effort is needed on your passion and take the motion to be, this is what I'm defending and this is what I'm believing in. I think there was a little bit of that missing. And our second speaker, Susan, you also didn't cross-examine, and I think it has been mentioned. The team on the other side, that was very well done. I think it's your first time here, and I think you've done some good justice to the motion. So I wish you all the best.
St. Mary's Girls Igoji, you were awarded 67%. Please give them a round of applause. Josirines High School, the judges awarded you 69%. You're our winners for the debate.
Congratulations to both teams on stage. Thank you for a wonderful job. Remember to give us your feedback at Great Debaters EA is our Twitter handle. I have been your host, Mariam Bishar.
And I am Austin Nyombok. Catch you next time.
The Great Debaters Contest is powered by Blaze, by Safaricom, the Youth Network.